Hi, it's Tony, your Pop Pop's Workshop, and today we are going to do a quick unboxing and a basic review, uh, preview even, of this Wen. Is the 6502T. It's a 4x36 belt sander with a 6-inch disc attached. Very cool product. This actually was gifted to us by a channel subscriber, so thank you, Chris. Very kind, very generous. We're looking forward to using this in the shop. So we're going to do a quick hyperlapse as I unbox this, and then we're going to talk about some of the features and what I expect out of this. All right, so as you saw, it didn't take long to unbox, especially when you get a hyperlapse going, right? But I've taken the time to track the belt. She's running good. And check the parts. They're all here. One thing I did appreciate is they've got just a block of plywood that was stuck under here for transport. So it kept this from bouncing and maybe fracturing something back here. So that was a really nice touch. Great on the unboxing. Comes with a miter gauge. To be honest, I'm not sure how much I'd use this miter gauge on there. Maybe I will. Maybe there'll be a situation that'll come up. I can't think of one at the moment. But they've got a nice table that goes on the front for the disc and a guard and guide that goes on here. So we're going to do another hyperlapse of those. But one thing I did want to say is it's one Allen wrench to adjust this up and down and to put this on. Otherwise, it's a knob to put this on, but one Allen wrench. This is where you get things right, folks. I don't have 3 or 4 different Allen wrenches that I have to keep near this to figure out what I need to do. I've got one Allen wrench to keep with the tool. So if your product manufacturers, one is better than a dozen trying to keep track of, right? So that they did that right for sure. Dust port on here. I'm going to have to get some more mag fits to make it work, but this is a 2¼ inch dust port, so that's kind of standard. So that's going to be nice. I'll be able to hook that up to my dust collection, and that's going to make using this much easier, much more delightful. Less sawdust is better in the shop. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get a hyperlapse, and I'm going to put these parts on, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. All right, so you saw all I really needed besides what was provided was a square, just to make sure that this was square to the bed and this was square to the face of the spindle. There is one drawback to this table, and that's the little scale on the side. I have vision limitations, as many of you know, so that scale is going to be tough to use. So I may use a square or a digital angle finder to set that, probably easier to read and everything else. So that may be what I default to there. No big deal. It's just, it's a small space, so I can understand there being limits to how detailed that scale can be. So it's just difficult for me with my vision limitations to be able to see that. But there's a fix. Digital gauges are cheap. You can get that on there, not a problem. And basically, like I said, you've got one Allen wrench to do stuff. So you loosen the screw at the back. I'll show you where that's at. This is just a simple little bolt. You loosen that up, and now you can pivot this anywhere in here that you need to. If you need it straight up and down, fine. And then you can tighten that back up, and then you've got something vertical. And with your material stop here, you can just set something on there and sand it that way if you wanted to, if you needed to. Something maybe longer that you needed just to hold up there. This would be great. Instead of having to hold it straight up like this, you could hold it out like this. So there's benefits to that happening there. So that's just a quick overview. My initial thoughts are it feels solid. It doesn't feel cheap. Even the knob, even though it's plastic, doesn't feel like it's going to break when I tighten it. Now, you don't have to tighten it that much. 2¼ inch dust port, that's great. Sometimes some of these come with really small dust ports, and there's really no point then in trying dust collection. Some don't even have dust collection. So the fact that it has it, that's a plus as well. Overall, very cool. I will say we have several Wen products in the shop. We have a track saw. Love my track saw. We've got an air filtration up here in the shop that's Wen. On the other side of the wall, we have a Wen dust collector. So We've got a few Wen tools in our collection, and so far I haven't found a bad one in the batch. Not saying that somebody else hasn't had a different experience than me, but we're enjoying the Wen tools. I'll probably incorporate a few more of them over time because they're cost effective for a small shop on a budget like we are. Yeah, I know the expression buy once, cry once. If that were the case with me, I wouldn't be crying because I wouldn't be buying. So that's kind of where we're at. We need to find a budget friendly option. And from what we've experienced in our shop, when is that? So again, thanks to Chris for contributing this to me. I really appreciate that, buddy. This is going to come in super handy in the shop. I already got some projects lined up that I'm going to use this with that you may or may not see in some upcoming videos. So thanks for hanging out with us for this quick little review of this new product in the shop. You'll see more going forward. Down maybe a few months from now, I'll do an overview of what I thought and how it's performing. So thanks again for showing up. Thanks for watching. We appreciate that you've done that. If you feel the urge to subscribe, I won't stop you. That'd be great. But thanks again for stopping by. And remember, you can do this.